Welcome to TraderStream. My name is Mohsen. For all traders who trade on demand and supply zones, we have developed an indicator which works on TradingView, hassle-free. Most of the people suffer to drag retracement line in curve analysis. If you're someone suffering from finding zones on all time frames, this tool can help you find out demand and supply zones. The icing on the cake of this tool is it also identifies DATR. So here is an indicator which is called 360D, which is the ideal solution for finding demand zones and supply zones, and also DATR and simple moving and exponential moving average. So let's jump on to the first feature of the tool, which is about identifying boring and explosive candles. So if you actually look at the chart here, the boring candles are highlighted in blue color, whereas the explosive candles are highlighted in black. So if you look at the outline of the boring and explosive candle, if the explosive candle has a red outline, so that means it's a bearish candle. So if it has a green outline, so that means it's a bullish candle. Whereas the same way applies to the boring candle as well. If you see a boring candle in blue and the outline is in green, so that means it's a bullish candle. So if the boring candle is blue and the outline is in red, so that means it's a bearish candle. So let us try and identify some of the boring candles which the tool was able to identify. So here you go. So we can see the boring candles which the tool has identified. So that's one of the primary feature of the tool, which will identify the boring and the explosive moves, and it will color it accordingly. Let's jump on to the second feature of the tool, which is the EMA and SMA, which is the exponential moving average and simple moving average. If you actually look at the moving average, you can see the color of the moving average changes based on the trend. So if the trend is bullish, which is where the market is going up, you would see the moving average color which will be in the green, whereas if the trend changes and the market is bearish or market is coming down, you would see the moving average color would change to red, which is one of the beautiful feature of this tool. Now, in terms of the moving average, you can go ahead and select the kind of average you want, whether you want exponential moving average or simple moving average, or if you want to remove the moving average, you can do that as well. And you can also select the length. If you want 20 days moving average, you can select 20 days. If you want 14 days moving average, you can select 14 days moving average as well. So this is one of the beautiful features where you can select the moving average, and which would also change the color, which would be easier for us and you to make the trading decisions effectively. These three color categorization is to identify where the market price is. While if you actually look at the upper color and the middle color and the lower color, the upper color stands for high on the curve, so it means that the market price is high on the curve. If the market price is in the middle bracket of the color, it gives us the indication that the market price is in the equilibrium zone, and if the market price is in the lower color bracket, it means that the market is at the low of the curve. For the color categorization, you need to manually enter the price which is on the high on the curve and the price which is for the low on the curve. The default number that you will get on the indicator would be 0. Now we need to do the change. See, I just changed this to 0 and I do not see the color categorization, whereas I actually see the demand and supply zones that I have marked manually, but I do not see the color categorization because the number that is set here is 0. So we have made this 0. Let me go ahead and add the price for high on the curve and low on the curve. Depends if you want to take high and low on the curve based on distal line or proximal line. I usually prefer it based on distal line so that I can divide the zones equally. let us go ahead and add the price for high on the curve. If you can actually see, the high on the curve price here is 7949.75, which is 7949.75, which should be our high on the curve price, and the low on the curve price would be 4765.30, which is 4765.30. So I'll just say okay. Once I say okay, I can see the categorization of colors again, which should tell me the actual equilibrium zone and high on the curve and low on the curve zone. Now that we have defined the curve, we want to make sure and see if there is a trading setup to trade. As I am an MIT trader, my intermediate time frame would be weekly. So I would go ahead and select it weekly to see if I have a trading possibility. As you see, we are in an uptrend on the intermediary time frame. So I would choose the uptrend here. So that's what is selected. If it was a sideway market, I would choose sideway. If it's a downtrend market, I would choose downtrend. Whereas on our trading setup on the intermediary time frame, we see the market is in uptrend, so we would select uptrend here for the trend identification. Now that we have covered most of the aspects of the indicator, from the demand and supply zone to the color indicator to also the SMA and EMA, we will talk about the snippet that you see here. Now, ideally, what Snippet would do is would give you all the overview information in the text. It would also give you information on the day's high, day's low, and also if you have a setup to trade or not. So let me go ahead and select this and tell you how this setting is defined. So if you look at the intraday risk and the swing risk here, I have set this up to 5% and 10%. You can set this up based on the risk that you want to take on each of the trade. So based on the risk analysis, based on the risk that you want to take on each trade, you can set this up to the numbers that you want to do. I have set this up to 5% and 10%. So once I have this 5 and 10%, it would typically show me what is the risk that I can take from the distal line. So if you can actually look at the 5% risk that I see on this stock, which is Maruti, I can take a risk of 10%, 10 rupees from the distal line, and for the MIT and HIT trade, it would be 20 rupees from the distal line. So typically, this is a money management tool, which is a view of the text. Well, this is what the indicator can do. We are trying to make this better as every day passes. If you're someone finding it difficult to analyze the pool of stocks and want the analysis to be done faster, then 360D would be your faster solution. If you need access to this indicator, you can email. I have put the email address in the description box down. This is Mohsen signing off from TraderStream. Happy trading and have a nice day.